Good morning, everybody. I just want to test that you can hear me on your side for the new guys that have just joined. And also, can you see my screen? You should be looking at the first slide that I've prepared for you guys this morning. So if you could just pop in the chat box, yes, or give me a thumbs up, that would be great because we're about to kick off. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we are recording the session, and if you do miss anything, obviously there will be recordings shared with you after the session today. So let's kick off. It's 10 a.m. Thank you very much, first of all, for making the time to join me this morning. Some of you are already using LeadSquared, and some of you are in the process of having your LeadSquared platform set up for your business. And some of you are already here just to see what LeadSquared is all about. So I'd just like to take the opportunity to welcome all of you. For those of you who I have not yet had the opportunity of meeting in person, my name is Chantal Fraser, and I'm the CEO of LeadSquared Africa. I also consider myself to be really privileged because I've had the opportunity to work in sales from a very young age, and luckily enough for me, across multiple industries. It's what I know, what I absolutely love, and I really hope that I have the ability to share some valuable insights with you today. So before we kick off, I am going to share the recording of this webinar with you. I'm also going to be sharing with you a practical guide that you can start using to implement your marketing strategy into your chosen software. So whether it's LeadSquared or any other sales and marketing automation software you're going to use, this guide is still going to be very valuable to you. I'll share the deck with you, and please feel free to share it within your teams. If I may just ask once again that you keep yourselves on mute throughout the session, just so that we don't pick up any background noise. And if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. I will stop, during the session to answer any questions. And I've also got my co-pilot on board with me today, Chrysanta, who will also be helping answer some of your questions. Please don't feel offended if you ask questions that don't relate to the content of today's webinar. I'm not going to have time to answer all of those questions, but please feel free. Chrysanta is going to drop my email address in the chat box now, so you can reach out to me and we can take it offline. Now, I have built 3 successful subscription businesses using sales and marketing automation software. And that is why today I'm absolutely confident to sit here with you and lift up the bonnet and give you a look inside LeadSquared today. Just before we get going, on the 6th of January, I did a COVID test and unfortunately tested positive. Now, I'm only mentioning that because we work in a very big shared office space, and within a few hours, our entire office had to be shut down and defogged, and our entire team, had to be sent home to work in isolation. So we're all going through a very, aggressive second wave of this pandemic, and just one person testing positive can have a very detrimental impact on your business. So of course I feel terrible it had to be me to cause all the inconvenience, but luckily we are a SaaS business and everything we do is in the cloud. And so for us, it was a matter of picking up our laptops and going home. Now, on that note, a lot of you might be wondering, what do I mean when I talk about SaaS? So SaaS basically just stands for software as a service. And it's cloud-based software. So we don't have to download anything onto our computers. We basically use licenses to access the applications using internet. It's much cheaper than building your own software. We don't have to worry about maintaining it, and we don't have to worry about things like security and so much more. I I've used a lot of CRMs, over the years being in sales, and man alive, I am really glad things have evolved and changed from these old school static CRMs that we used to use. I'm talking about the CRMs where you absolutely have to capture everything manually. As a salesperson, I think this must be in the top 3 things that we absolutely hate doing. And that is why we actually just don't do it consistently, and we don't do it really well. And this is why we have our sales managers on our back, because they never have access to the data they need to enable us and help us and coach us to make our targets. So we just keep running around in these, frustrating circles. So kicking off, this is really going to be our agenda for today. And I know it sounds like a lot, and that's why I said I'm going to record everything for you. So I think this is a good place to start. Is a lot of people get really confused when we talk about marketing automation and CRM. And so I want to start off by making sure that you understand what the difference is and how they actually work together. So CRM, most of you have had the opportunity to work on a CRM before. And even if you've used Excel spreadsheets, that's still some form of customer relationship management control, right? But a CRM, basically, the purpose of it is to give salespeople a complete view of their leads, their prospects, customers. And CRM up until now is usually owned by the sales division. Whereas marketing automation, on the other hand, is used to run campaigns. It's the place where you can create digital assets like emailers and landing pages. And it's the place where you basically manage all your lead programs. And up until now, marketing automation is typically owned by your marketing department. Now, these 2 tools work in tandem, and when you use CRM and marketing automation together, they have very powerful outcomes, and I'll speak about 3 in particular. Now, the first one is visibility. So if we talk about the CRM database, this is where sales inputs all their activities like calling, emails, meetings they have, etc. And on the marketing automation end, this is where the data that relates to actions that your prospects and customers take, like what content they read, what emails they read, links that they click on, and how long they spend on your website. That data is typically brought in by your marketing automation tool. Now, when these 2 sets of data are combined, it gives you the ability to enable your salespeople to know who to talk to, when to talk to, and what to talk to them about. So visibility is the first outcome that is really, really powerful when you combine these 2 tools together. The next one is automation. So marketing automation enables businesses basically to create real personalized customer journeys, because the automations will know exactly what to send, when to send it, and even when the lead is passed over from marketing to sales, the alignment between sales and marketing stays strong, which means that marketing teams can continuously create automated programs that your sales teams can run straight out of your sales CRM. And the final outcome here is powerful reporting. So combining these two tools together gives you real-time data, so that every single a lead that comes into the CRM and moves on to your salespeople is tracked right from start to the time it starts generating revenue. And both these tools essentially mean that you've got the ability to generate more leads, close your deals faster than ever before, and get to a position where you can see the value of the efforts that you've actually put into your campaigns. So let's talk about LeadSquared for a moment. So what makes LeadSquared the front runner. So we've spoken about CRM, we've spoken about marketing automation. Some of you might be using similar tools, but LeadSquared really is focused on making sales fun again. And we don't only have the modern CRM and the marketing automation, but we've combined with that sales automation and lead management. And this is what makes LeadSquared invaluable to any sales organization. So what is sales automation? Well, it's also the concept of using software to eliminate all those repetitive, mundane, manual tasks that you usually expect your salespeople to keep updating in your CRM. And you want to do that because when you do that, you enable your salespeople to focus on speaking to sales-ready leads, closing those leads, and creating better customer experiences. So just to skim the surface, you can automate things like your pipeline, follow-ups, tasks, lead capturing. Sales automation is so much more than that. And you will see what I'm talking about as we go through the session together today. And the best thing that you can do for your sales team is to put them in front of sales-ready leads. And why is it important? Well, enable them to hit their targets so that they earn commission, get inspired, and learn from you. So imagine being able to become a coach instead of a micromanager. The world has changed. And, if you have been used to calling around, trying to get salespeople to update their reporting and using old school CRMs, you will know the challenges you've faced up until now. And add on top of that, the fact that we now work remotely is definitely going to be a recipe that for disaster. What I mean by that is if you want to kill your passion for sales, keep doing things the old way. We prefer to keep sales fun at LeadSquared. Right. So it's all about closing. So next up, let's talk about implementing. So whether you're using LeadSquared or you've got another sales and marketing automation solution that you've opted to work with, implementing sales and marketing automation is not a step. It's not just signing up for something and getting a username and password. It's a journey, all right? Sales and marketing automation is a new concept for South African businesses, and you should definitely not use it to automate bad processes or old methods that no longer work anymore. So the first step is making sure that you have a plan, all right, before you start using your sales and marketing automation software. Be clear about the problems that you want to solve now in phase 2 and phase 3 and so on. Don't make the mistake about focusing on the bells and whistles. In other words, all the features inside the software. Focus on the problems that you want to solve. Because when you work with a team like my team at LeadSquared, we will explore the problems that you are trying to solve. And we'll work together with you as a team. And the first step we will take is to guide you through the best ways to apply the features in LeadSquared to configure a solution for your business. Why is this so important? Well, first of all, like I said earlier, this concept of sales automation and marketing automation is new for South African businesses. Most businesses we work with today think because they've got a bulk email system or a bulk SMS system, they've got marketing automation. That's not what marketing automation is about. And 99% of the clients that we start working with don't even know how much of their sales process can be automated. So we will help you identify these opportunities so that you can improve efficiencies throughout your entire sales cycle. So what do I mean by this? When we think of sales, many of us just think about our sales reps, okay? But it takes more than sales reps to conclude a deal. So think about your, whatever you're selling in your sales cycle. You've got back office teams that are involved, when it comes to concluding orders. So you might have a verifications team that needs to do your KYC checks, process orders, prepare things like quotes, invoices. And all these teams are there to support your sales process and increase sales productivity. So when you do this implementation and planning correctly, you will accelerate your sales cycle like never before. And you can do this with your teams working from anywhere. All right, the next one is, let's talk about your database. Now, a database in basic terms is really just an organized collection of data that is stored and generally accessible electronically. Okay, I think you understand that concept. And most of us across our businesses will have, let's call it, standard fields like first names, last names. Somebody's drawing on my screen. If you wouldn't mind stopping with your artwork, that would be great. All right. So most of us have got common lead fields like first name, last name, email address, etc. But many of our businesses are unique. And so it's really important that you choose a solution that's going to give you the ability to maintain data integrity. And this is really important because you need to remember, and you can bank on at least 25% of your data decaying year on year. And if you want to choose sales and marketing automation software, you need to be looking for a solution where you can design your database that's going to set you up to, number one, prevent duplicates. You don't want to have multiple entries for the same lead. You want to have one unified view of every single prospect and customer. And you want to be able to ensure your sales users are guided to capture single entry fields. So you end up with what we call structured data so that you can make data-driven decisions and build world-class automations. Next up is that you don't have to be a project manager or know how to use scientific tools, but you do need to understand the concept of flowcharts. Okay, and a flowchart is really just a sequence of movements, actions, people, activities, things that are involved in completing a process or an activity. You already know your processes in your business. It's now just about getting that information down, all right? And even drawing it on a piece of paper means that you're getting it down. So your flowcharts over time will become more and more complex as you start adding lead nurturing life cycles to it, but they will become your blueprint in terms of how you deal with every single customer or prospect that comes into your, it starts dealing with your brand. So it's really worth investing the time in doing this properly up front. So let's work through this together. The next thing is to look at things like, all right, so who are we as a business? What are we selling and who are we selling to? So in this example that I've put together, we're a bank, right? And we sell different kinds of insurance products. Now, one of the buyer personas that take up our life insurance cover are fathers who want to take care of their families when they are no longer around. So what we want to do is we now want to start creating content, all right? And we need to remember that we need to align our content to this buyer persona. And we also need to make sure that our flowcharts deal with all the possible actions that our leads could take. Now, what are those actions that leads could take? Well, we could have people that say, yes, they want to buy our life insurance today. We could have people that say, no, we don't want it. People are not ready to buy it. And what about those people that start their application and then drop off? All right. Does that make sense so far? Good stuff. So here's an example of what our flow chart would look like. So let's take, for example, my leads, all right, are going to come from my lead sources like you can see on this diagram. They're going to come from my Excel database. Now, I've got a database of existing prospects, okay? I've got a database of men in my database that have not yet taken up my insurance cover. I've got leads that are going to come in from my website. I'm also using Facebook lead ads, and I'm using Google lead ads for this specific acquisition campaign. Now, as you can see, when my leads come in, all right, the next step is that I want my lead to complete their application form. Now, we're going to direct all our leads across our lead sources to an online LeadSquared customer portal where they can complete their application online. Now, if they complete, all right, their application form online on the portal, and they answer all the screening questions that we ask them to complete, then what we're going to do is LeadSquared is automatically going to send that application to my team of underwriters. My team of underwriters is then going to get a notification from LeadSquared to ask them to prepare options and submit the quote to my prospect for their consideration. If the prospect accepts my quote, LeadSquared is automatically then going to start the verification and KYC process. KYC stands for Know Your Customer, for those of you who are not in the financial services space. All right, and we're going to do that so that we can verify the customer and conclude the sale. But if we go back to where the leads come in and an application form is completed, but they don't meet all our screening requirements, then what we're going to do is we are going to present the prospect with other alternative insurance plans so that we've got the opportunity to do business with the lead instead of no business at all. All right. Now, very importantly, a lot of businesses don't consider this, but what about those leads that start an application, but maybe let's say they get to step 2 or 4? What we're going to do then, so they haven't completed their application, LeadSquared, without any human intervention, is going to send them an email first to nudge them to complete their application, right? And then what we're going to do is if they don't respond to that email, we're going to then prompt them by sending an automated SMS. And that SMS is going to be there with or serving the purpose to nudge them to complete the application. And if that still doesn't work, let's say 3 days later, my sales team is automatically going to get a notification to please ask them to call that particular lead to see if they potentially have any questions that they want answered so that we can massage that lead down the lead funnel with the objective of closing that lead opportunity. Right. So this flow chart needs to be configured into LeadSquared. So once we've got everything down on paper and we understand what that chart needs to look like, we now need to go and configure this into our LeadSquared platform. Right. So the first thing is, as you can remember, in my flow chart, I had various lead sources. Now, many of you work across multiple lead sources. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we say goodbye to any possible lead leakage. Now, what do I mean by that? Most of you are either generating leads from inbound emails, inbound phone calls, outbound phone calls, SMSs, LinkedIn ads, your databases, Google ads, your website, lead aggregator websites, etc. And with all these leads coming in from different sources, if you don't have a lead management tool like LeadSquared, then you unfortunately are going to be faced with a problem of lead leakage. Now, there are businesses that lose up to 47% of their leads because they don't have a centralized tool where every lead comes into. And what this does is that it doesn't paint a really good impression for prospects that are engaging with your brand for the first time, because imagine if 47% of your leads don't even get a response, or a salesperson never even follows up on that lead. Now, you've spent money generating the lead, you've taken time to generate the lead. To lose up to 47% of your leads is not a great start. So we want to make sure that we go and set up every lead source that you use inside LeadSquared so that your leads will automatically be captured into LeadSquared with no manual intervention required from your sales team. Now, I will share with you in the worksheet I've created a manual, step-by-step guide you can follow to make sure that you capture all your leads into LeadSquared or any other software that you are using. Right. So the next one is your lead fields. And we spoke about this earlier. Most of us use standard fields like name, email, phone number, etc. But you may have unique fields. So let's say that you're in the shoe business. You might want to know what size shoe somebody wants to order. And you want to be able to create those fields. So we just configure those inside LeadSquared. Very importantly, you may have other core systems in your business that host important information about your customers, like their buying transactions, other products they have with you, claims history, payment patterns, and using LeadSquared APIs, you can push and fetch information between LeadSquared and your core systems. And the reason why you would want to do this is because if you have or can achieve a unified view of your customer information in one place, that enables you to build world-class customer experiences. Okay, so we've got your lead sources, your lead fields, and then we've got your lead stages. And basically, lead stages is just the steps that you're going to take, all right, from the moment you generate a lead until somebody becomes a paying customer in your business. And why do we have to have lead stages? Because unfortunately, not everybody that interacts with you today is going to buy your product today. So think about those of you who have done campaigns before where you bang out 10,000 SMSs today or 50,000 emails, and we focus on the 2% of people that say, yes, I want your product today. But what about the 98% of people that weren't ready? Those people are a gold mine for you, and those people you need to nurture through your lead stages. And that is why it's important to configure these things inside your LeadSquared profile. So now we've done our configuration at a high level. We want to go and create our content. So we're not going to go into the detail of building marketing strategies today, but once you've got your messaging, so if back to our example, we have got life insurance, we are going to be building a message and that we want to share out with fathers who want to make sure their families are taken care of in the event they're no longer around. So what you want to do is you want to open up, simply put, a Word document, and you want to start converting your story, all right, from your marketing strategy into a series of messages. Now, what's really important is that you want to make sure that you personalize your content. So you can see on this slide where I've said, dear at first name. That is what we refer to as a merge field. Now, all those lead fields that you create inside your LeadSquared profile, you have the ability to use as merge fields to really personalize the information that you're going to share with your prospects and customers. Okay. So when you're creating your content, just put in place the placeholders where you want to personalize information. And very importantly, make sure that you always include a very clear call to action on your marketing messages. And you want to do this so that your prospects and customers know exactly what action they must take if they are interested in whatever you are offering them. And a call to action in this example is the button you can see on my rough email draft that says get cover now. So many marketing messages that you will see on Facebook, on emailers, just come with no call to action. You know, what's the point of sending out marketing messages if you don't give people clear instructions to take? So the next thing is that you need to consider experimenting and test variations. So when you build your campaigns, all right, bear in mind that you're going to have to test and play around and see what your audience responds to. So in this example, you can see on the first example, I've created an email with the same messaging, but I've put in a video, all right, with a call to action. And on the second example, I've stuck to a basic text email. Now, it's the same content, I'm just presenting it differently, because I want to see what my audience is going to respond to. And when I know what they respond to, I can create more of what works and less of what doesn't. Okay. That if somebody clicks on the call to action on your emailer, you need to make sure that you set up a destination where you want to direct your interested prospects and customers to based on the call to action they take. So in this example, if somebody clicked on the call to action on my email, I'm going to direct them to a landing page, which I've also created inside LeadSquared, and I'll take you through that shortly. And what I want them to do here is I want them to complete the application form, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay, so in this example, the destination that I want to take my prospects to is a landing page, all right, that has got my secure application form on it. So just remember that you're not only going to be using channels like email as an example. So if you are going to be using channels like social media, then this landing page that you create in LeadSquared is going to come with its own unique URL. So make sure that when you are creating your social media posts, that you take that URL. And as you can see on my little example on the left-hand side of the screen, is that I've included a click-through to the URL so that people can be directed through to my application form that I've created inside LeadSquared. So just make sure that you always include the destination link. All right. So the next thing is that we spoke about building your flowcharts so that you can take care of all the different kinds of actions that your leads take. And this is dealing with the yes replies, the no's, I'm not ready right now, and people that drop off. Now, you can use simple things like a piece of paper. And for some of you who want to test out tools like Miro, there's free applications like Lucid, Miro, where you get like 3 drawing boards that you can use. So test them out, and you can start creating your workflows, because once you can visualize it, all right, then you can start building it inside LeadSquared. So I'm going to show you how this all works now. And I will end off by showing you how you go and measure your success, because everything you do in sales and marketing automation, all right, ends up with measuring success. And I want to show you how you can measure the success of all your campaigns in LeadSquared. So please, while I switch screens, just pop your questions through onto the chat box. Right. I have now shared my LeadSquared application screen with you. Just tell me if you guys can see that. Sorry, let's try that again. Minimize that. PowerPoints, just give me a second. Right, we're ready to go. Okay, so logged into my LeadSquared demo account for purposes of the session today. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my administrator dashboard. What I want to start off by doing is going and showing you where I actually went and created my email campaigns that I shared with you. So what we go and do is, if we go through to our email library, all right, so email library over here, you'll see that I've created my 2 emails over here, right? And on my email library, I've got 2 variations, the one with the video I created and one with text only. So let me just show you quickly. If you wanted to create your own templates, you literally go and add your templates here. For purposes of this, because we don't have too much time, I'm just going to hit the edit button. So you can have a look at how easy it is to design this for you. All right. So it's in LeadSquared, we talk about drag and drop a lot. And drag and drop basically means if you can use your mouse to navigate on your computer screen, then basically you can design your own emails. All right. And we have got many clients that are designing really, really beautiful emails and landing pages. But take a look here. If I wanted to add in an image, it's a matter of dragging and dropping and placing the placeholder where I want to do that. You can embed videos into your emails, and you can also go and put in text. You can add in rows, you can change the styling, etc. So what you want to do over here is basically play around and get used to, how to drag and drop. I mean, customize your content, whatever you want to do, and hit the save button. Okay, so this is where you would go and build out all your email templates. And this essentially then means that your team never have to build these emails over and over again, because they're all available inside your library, right? Next up, we're going to just take you through to the content section on LeadSquared. Now, for those of you who use things like sales brochures, maybe you've got more complex products, maybe you've got like a product brochure, you can upload all your sales and marketing collateral into LeadSquared over here, so that when people want to go onto your website at 12 at night and they want to download your brochure, they don't have to wait until 8 a.m. on a Monday morning when somebody gets to the office to help them. They can get it on demand. So upload your sales and marketing collateral, which is then going to be used inside your email and landing page content. And I'll show you how you do that shortly. Right. So next up, what I want to show you is the landing pages. So I showed you how to create emails, and the same applies if you want to create landing pages. Now, landing pages, basically you are going to be building websites, but these websites are one pages and they are focused on generating sales. Okay, so if you go and have a look at this specific landing page that we've created, you'll see that number one, we give you the ability to create your own. Now, it's just a matter of, if I click on edit over here, drag and drop once again, you can use the pre-designed template that we have in LeadSquared for you. So this is the template that I've created, and it's just an example for purposes of today's session. But what's really, really impressive and very useful is that you will notice that I've created my application form online. Now have a look at this. If I double click on this, you will see that I've got the ability to change my form fields, right? And I've done all of that on my own, no coding, no design skills, and that page is available and published. All right. So if we go back to landing pages, I want to show you how you get the URLs to actually use to direct people to your destinations as per my previous slides. So if you have a look at this, you will see that if I go and click on get landing page URL and I click on this, it's going to open up the page, right? So that is what the page is going to look like. Now, anybody that fills this in, their lead information is automatically going to come into LeadSquared, into my lead section. So let me show you, when I talk about automated CRM, what do I actually mean by this? So let's head off to leads quickly. And if you have a look here, let's go and have a look at my record. Now you will notice that there is a red little button here to show you that Chantal Fraser is actively engaging with the content at the moment. So if we click on Chantal Fraser, you will see something called activity history. Now, I don't know about you, but none of the CRMs I've ever worked on did this for me. But take a look at this. Chantal received an email on the 12th of January, all right? This is the email that she received. So I showed you that email on the slides. We prepared it together, all right? It showed me that she opened the email, all right? It also showed me that she clicked on the link, all right? And it shows me all the engagement she's had. She's gone so far as to basically fill in that form. And on this form, do you see I even ask her to upload her ID document. Now we deal with banks and financial services companies globally. So you're dealing with banking level security here, and everything is hosted on AWS. So if you have a look here, you'll see this is the information that Chantal uploaded, and here is her ID document, right? So everything has been automated, no human intervention. And this is automatically being sent through to our verification team to do the KYC and converted her to a customer. That's what I mean by accelerating your sales cycle. Okay, so that is what we refer to as our sales CRM section of LeadSquared. We've spoken about your content, landing pages. Now take a look at this when we talk about measuring results. So when you send out an email campaign, we need way more these days than just understanding who, how many clicks we got, how many impressions, how many opens. Like, so what, if 5 people opened it? We want to know who opened it. So if you have a look at these 2 campaigns that we sent out, so we want to test the variations. So you can see that we sent this campaign to 32 people and this one to 6. Okay. And if we click on any one of these campaigns, let's go and have a look at the detail behind this. So now I can see exactly how many people clicked on the video to watch the video, right? How many people clicked on the link to go to the application form, and who are the people who are actively engaging with this at the moment. So if I click on this, it's going to take me into their lead record. So this gives me the ability, I don't have to physically do anything with this because I'm going to use automations to guide the next step. But similarly, if I look at my text only campaign, it's going to show me exactly what people are engaging with here. So it will show me the people that unsubscribed, which data has gone bad, so I can exclude them from future campaigns. Now, very exciting, the same thing happens on landing pages. So if we click on a landing page, it's not about just knowing that I had 200 visits. I want to know who those people are. So here you can see, I've had 29 people view this landing page that I showed you earlier on, 8 submissions with a 27.6% conversion. So if I go and click on this, once again, it's going to drill down into the data. So I can now reach out to these people, all right, depending on the parameters I've set up, like my lead scores, etc. I can see where my leads are coming from, so which leads are most profitable for me. And again, if I want to click on the lead, it's just a matter of clicking on the person's name and I'm back into their profile. So that is basically just showing you how the lead part of LeadSquared works. Now, when it comes through to connecting your lead sources, you will see inside LeadSquared, we've got something called the apps marketplace. But over and above the apps marketplace, there's tools like Zapier. Chrysanta is going to share the URL for Zapier with you in the chat box, so zapier.com. There are over 2,000 at least integrations that or zaps that you can use to connect third-party applications in to LeadSquared. Now, if you're using things like Facebook, why would you want to get a lead on Facebook, go and export the file from Facebook and then manually capture it into LeadSquared? Just connecting it with the lead ads connector automatically will bring your leads in. So no more manual capturing. All your leads come to one place and go through your customer journeys that you want to build. And this is the same thing for connecting your telephony, right? So if you're using dialers, online meetings, Zoom meetings, GoToWebinars as an example, anything you can think of, all right, can be integrated into LeadSquared as long as it's got an open API. So the next thing that we want to have a look at is we've shown you email campaigns and landing pages, but when it comes to configuring your lead fields and making those changes, at the top of your menu bar under your avatar, where you see settings, This is the engine behind your LeadSquared platform. And over here is where you can go and create all the different lead fields that you want in your profile. Now, for those of you who are going through implementations with us right now, you are not allowed to touch your lead fields because we're doing it for you. But for those of you who want to add on any of your own lead fields, then please feel free to do that. And what's really, really good is that you can go and create different kinds of text fields like drop downs, multi-selection fields, etc. And making sure that your data fields are set up correctly is going to put you in a great position when it comes to building your automations. So let's go and show you how you work with automations. This is probably for me one of the most exciting things, or things that have really changed the way we do this at LeadSquared internally. But if you have a look at LeadSquared, we've covered the sales part of LeadSquared at a high level, the marketing and content. We've spoken about the apps marketplace integrations, your settings. Now I want to show you automations. So if I go and click on this particular automation that I just prepared for today's session, and I'm going to say edit. I've done this myself with no code. I'm not a techie at all. And it's again just drag and drop. But because I had drawn out that flow chart, I know what I want my workflow to look like. So what have I done? I've told LeadSquared that when a new lead, all right, is created, all right. So what I'm saying is over here, you can see when a lead is created by somebody filling in a form on that landing page that I took you through in the presentation, what I want you to do is I want you to please look at the screening filters and look at things like if the annual income is greater or equal to 200,000 Rand a year, as an example. I want you to create a task for my verifications team, all right? And what I want them to do is go and complete the verification task. So if you have a look here, all it's going to do is send a notification to my verifications team, and they need to go and do the verification and go and confirm if the ID is being configured, whatever the verification process might be. And at the same time, I want to distribute the lead to the various sales team. And then once the lead has been taken through the verification process, I don't want somebody manually to have to go and update the lead stage from verification. The system must automatically go and update it to a customer if they pass the screening filters. And I literally press save and publish, and that is my automation. Now LeadSquared runs and keeps my business functional 24/7 without any human intervention, except when my verification team gets involved or somebody doesn't complete their application form and I want my salesperson to reach out proactively and say, you know, how can I help you, answer your questions to move you down the sales funnel. Now, the automation capabilities are unlimited. If you want to set up things like birthdays, policy renewal reminders, property anniversaries, anything you can think of, cart abandonment, meeting reminders. I mean, just have a look at this, how easy it is to build. Let's say that you've got people that hit your website, right? And you want to respond to them with information immediately. It's a matter of you literally just telling LeadSquared where and what you want them to do. So I'm going to say in this case, where a lead goes onto my website and submits a form, but not just any website, right? A specific website. It could be a specific form on a specific page. So if they submit their details on this page, then what I want you to do, I want you to automatically send them this email that we created together, all right? And then I want to do things like, if they open that email, then what I want you to do is I want you to distribute the lead to my sales team to call, right? And create a task to call. If they don't open it, then what I want you to do is I want you to send another email to just double check, did you get my previous email? So that not wasting your salespeople's time speaking to leads that are not ready to buy. It's all about getting that lead score up, the engagement score up, so that people move down the funnel. And as you can see, when I talk about funnel, this is what I can see on my administrator dashboard. I can see exactly where my leads are coming from. I can see my engagement rates, how many leads are coming through. I've customized my dashboard. But at the end of the day, what's really important is that I can see in real time any report you can think of. There's over 150 reports that are standard out the box. And because we work with banks and, you know, insurance companies and ed tech companies across the globe, most of what you would require probably already exists in LeadSquared. But just from a marketing perspective, you know, if you have a look at let's have a look at websites and landing pages. You know, because we've spoken about landing pages today, we have to go and have a look at our top landing pages. You know, these are just some reports that marketing would want to use. So straight away, I can see in the last 30 days, these are my top landing pages. How many people have viewed it, submissions, etc. Right? And if you click on any of these things, it takes you back into the detail. We can present these reports to you, you know, in a way that you want to see them. You can export them, have your reports already on demand. So that essentially is how you have the ability to measure everything that you need to measure inside LeadSquared when it comes to your marketing, etc. Right, so I'd like to just have a look at some of your questions right now. Okay, so let's have a look here. So there's a question that's come up quite a bit around designing landing pages and emailers. When we onboard you, we will show you how to do these things in your training, you know, in your training and implementation process. We always encourage you to learn how to do these things yourself, all right? However, if you are really dead against to you know, build your own landing pages and emailers, we do have additional services that we offer you. But you can visit our website, click on enablers and submit your details there. We'll set up a discussion with you to find out what you're looking with the quote. Similarly, for those of you who need help, you know, putting together a marketing strategy, we work with marketing agencies and professionals that will help you, you know, along that route. So no, we don't, as preference, do the design for you. However, if you want you, we will put together, you know, pricing for your consideration. Now, something as well is that from a support perspective, if you need assistance with anything on LeadSquared, your point of call is to use our help portal. Everything you can think of, we've been in business since 2011, everything you can think of has been recorded and published online. If that doesn't make sense, we've got a support desk that's open from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. And we also tier support for those of you who have gone through implementation with us, where we will get involved and help you navigate through any solution that you are facing. Okay. There's another question around how do we calculate lead score? Please understand that everybody's lead scores will be different. We answer that simply for you. If you have a business and like our example today, your target is males between the age of 30 and they must have 2 children and be married. And if that is your ideal customer profile for this particular example, then what's going to happen every time somebody meets those criteria and that is your lead score, your highest lead score has been assigned to that, then that lead is going to be prioritized over a female that doesn't have children, who is not married. So just to give you an example, everybody's parameters will be different on your business. Okay, so from an integration with systems, guys, LeadSquared works with APIs is core systems have got open APIs. You can use our APIs and webhooks to push and pull data between. Is custom work that we would do with you, so just reach out to us offline, and we can help you scope that. Obviously, when our professional services team does get involved, you may have a quote that you need to consider when it comes to actually putting in development time. Okay. When it comes to setting up your lead fields and your lead sources and all of that kind of stuff up front, when you subscribe and sign up to LeadSquared, one of the first things we do is put you into what we call our implementation process. And this is the cornerstone to our client success. So once you've gone through all the application formalities, you will have a kickoff meeting with our professional services team. Our team is made up of developers, solution architects, EAs, etc., project managers. We will ask you the questions that we need and work with you. We'll then confirm your business requirement by reducing it to a RD document. Once that's done, we'll confirm with you if our understanding is correct. We will do the configuration for you, test it with you, train that you go live successfully. Please also note that we don't just hand over to you and leave you on your own. You then move into what hypercare for a period of time. Thereafter, you would move into customer success, and like I said, you always have your support and your project lead available to you to assist you at any moment in time. Everything we do is about helping you, generate more leads, close more sales, and accelerate that sales cycle so you can earn more sales revenue and retain your customers. So that is, our promise to you as LeadSquared. Is there any other questions that you guys have got that I can answer? Well, then, in closing, I would like to just thank you for making the time for joining me. Like I said, I'm going to share this information with you with a practical guide that you guys can use. I hope that the concept of sales automation and marketing automation is a little less overwhelming, but more importantly, I'm hoping that you can see how using solutions like LeadSquared can solve so many problems for businesses that need to, find more leads, increase their sales cycle, digitize sales. That's a big one right now. Help your sales team sit in front of, sales ready leads. Increase your sales productivity, get that alignment between sales and marketing. It's critical. And one of the things, or the feedback, one of the most common feedback threads we get is that our clients like working with us because, unlike a lot of the solutions that are available, is that we understand how business is done locally in South Africa. We give you support when we need it. We also charge in South African rands, which is quite a biggie. And, that means that you don't have to contend with the US dollar exchange rates. So every one of you that's online today, if you would like to have a discussion around exploring how LeadSquared can work in your business, then please just reach out to either myself or Chrysanta. Chrysanta will pop my contact details in the chat box for you now again, and we can jump online and have a conversation. If for those of you who want to go and have a look at our website, please do yourselves a favor and make sure that you go and visit our local site, which is leadsquared.coza. All right. Go and have a look at our local site, because that's the site that you will find the pricing in rands. And for those of you wanting to kind of get a feel of where we fit into, maybe you've heard of systems like HubSpot, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics. There are so many out there, brilliant solutions, great platforms to use, but for many businesses in South Africa, just exceptionally expensive. So we've been able to put together you know, a solution. LeadSquared is a global leading contender. So go and have a look at the pricing over there. And like I said, reach out to us if we can help anything else. From our side, thank you once again. And yeah, hope to catch up with you guys again soon.